Who's pushing this?
Pushing the stuff. The people who run the world, in my opinion.
And let me explain how it works. Again, we're going to go BlackRock and Vanguard.
Which channel is this being posted on?
What's that?
Are you allowed to talk about this stuff?
What?
Which channel is this being posted on? Is this your Kick? Or?
I think this is Kick right now.
That's cool.
That's cool. So you can say whatever. There's two, asset manager groups, BlackRock and Vanguard. So they're worth trillions. Again, not billions, but trillions. And they invest in all the billion-dollar companies. Mm-hmm. So if they want, the billion-dollar companies want some of that fucking trillion-dollar company money,
right,
they have to follow certain ground rules, like being LGBT friendly.
But why? Why is that an advantage?
Because at the very top of the game, they don't care about money. They print money. They don't care. They care about breaking the family unit. That is their number one goal, to break up the family. Because just like I said with the LGBT, 97% got vaccinated. Because if you don't have a father, you're gonna want fucking support from somebody. If you don't have a family, you're gonna look for support from somebody. And where's that come? It comes from Big Daddy government. So that's what they want. They want to break up the family to make sure everyone is dependent on the government. And that's why it comes from the very top. The money trickles down, and that's why you see these companies supporting LGBT, even though it costs them money. Like Target. Target had a whole section for LGBT. Yeah. Their stock went down like fucking 20, 30% because of it. They don't care. They're still getting money from Vanguard and BlackRock. That's how this game works. And that is why all of this happens. It's the money at the very top. Even
in the football, bro, the Premier League, I think they were wearing, if I remember correctly, they were wearing like rainbow arm flags. The armbands, the captains of the football team.
Your country is significantly more scary than mine.
That's why I left. That's why I left. England is the worst. England is super bad.
Yeah, I look at California as what England was like 10 years ago. They're usually about 10 years behind.
England's awful.
Would you recommend anyone live there?
No.
What?
I think being born in England might be one of the biggest advantages in life, right? Because you have a good accent, you can speak good, education system's good.
Is that where you were born?
Yeah, England. Okay. Right? There's a lot of advantages to being born in England. The passport's strong. You're not like, with the American tax system, you're not fucked with the tax forever. They don't come for you like that. England might be one of the best countries in the world to be born in, but living in England might be one of the worst things in the world. Like leave England as soon as you have a bit of money and you've passed the age of 18, just leave England. I left England. It was the best decision of my life. America's good though. Miami's good. I could live in Miami. I like Dubai at the moment. Miami's good. Eastern Europe is good, but England is just awful. It's super bad. And the thing is, people always say England's not that bad. Just don't do this. Don't wear a watch. Don't drive a nice car. Don't do this. Don't.
I get fucking arrested for my goddamn tweets in England.
Yeah, you would.
Flat out, I get arrested for my goddamn tweets. Fuck that country. Bunch of fucking pedophiles, man, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing I respect about England is they're pretty good capitalism. The capitalism there is pretty good compared to Europe. Compared to countries like France, countries like Germany, they have a much more capitalistic system.
But go back to that point about LGBT and stuff. Like, why? Okay, so this is one thing I actually don't fully understand. Maybe you can tell me. So let's say the elites, right? Would you say the elites run the whole world, right? So then why do they want to destroy, let's say, the family unit in America, England, the Western world? But what about China? Why is China becoming up stronger?
But China really isn't coming up because they had a one-child policy for about 50 fucking years. And now their fucking population's aging to the point they don't have enough young people to replace them. Yeah, they're fucked.
So you don't buy into the whole like China is bridging the gap between power levels of America and China? They were saying that China is becoming more strong than India and all these countries?
I believe that China has a lot of potential, but you could easily defeat China. They don't import enough food. They don't have their own natural resources. All you got to do is blockade China. They fall within 6 months. That's it. China is a paper tiger right now. If nothing changes, they might be real in about 10 years. But right now, America got their aircraft carriers. So the people on top just
see America as the thing to control, and it's just destroy the family unit in America, and the whole world is easy to control. That kind of thinking.
I mean, listen, when it doesn't matter who's in control, they're still going to promote degeneration. It doesn't really matter.
But then how come, because I don't know too much about this, but how come 50 years ago America was like amazing and like it was the best place in the world to live, people were saying, 1970s?
100%, because they didn't have the fucking agenda going on back then.
Why not?
It wasn't part of the time. They needed capitalism back then to build the infrastructure society.
to then lead to this point.
Yes.
Like step by step, you're saying.
Step by step. It's all step by step. They needed capitalism to build the infrastructure of the world. Now that they have the infrastructure, they don't really need the capitalism that much. They would much prefer a Chinese system. Social credit scores. If you say fuck you Biden, all of a sudden you can't go to the grocery store. That's what they want.
You think that we're heading there? Or do you think the American people will stand up and say, no, fuck this?
The American people will be the last to fall. I remember when my daddy, when I was a young boy, my daddy told me I ran away from the communists in the Soviet Union, but when the communists come here, you're not going to have anywhere to run to. That's what he told me. Those were his fucking words in the 80s. And God knows he was right. My daddy was a 7 Lifepath. Smart guy. That's the one regret I have. I wish I could have taught him numerology and astrology. Would have so enjoyed it. It is what it is. Maybe next lifetime, right? But in the meantime, I get to educate all of you guys on this. But going back to the elite, you're not going to change anything in a peaceful way. Right. It's just not going to happen. I was there, Washington, D.C., January 6th. I was VIP there. And I saw all those people go into the Capitol. And one thing I noticed when they were running in the Capitol, no guns, just flags. And I started asking myself, when has there ever been a successful revolution with people carrying flags? No. And after I answered that question, I'm like, yo, let's go get some lunch. You're not getting my ass.
Trump just did the podcast. You see it yesterday with Tucker. He got like 250 mil views.
Tucker's a G, man. I offered Tucker $1 million to do a podcast with me for 24 hours. I thought that might work, man. 24-hour podcast for $1 million.
How did he rise up? I just see him do these huge podcasts. I didn't even know who he was.
I'll tell you a thing about Tucker. So Tucker is born in a rooster year in 1969.
Is his voice successful?
And no, listen. He got canceled from Fox News this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And this is his enemy year. So his 2023 is year 217. Right. And he got canceled from the biggest primetime. Again, he's still making money.
But then has he had a bigger bounce back?
No, not even close.
Is he not more successful?
Fox News, bro, that's the top of the food chain when it comes to American politics.
But he's got 250 million podcasts in 24 hours.
Okay, that's fine. And how many people used to watch his podcast when he was on Fox News?
More than 250 mil?
And he got a lot more money when he was on Fox News. He's not really making any money here. He's getting the views like these YouTube guys, but he's not making any money anymore.
Right.
So again, he's taking an L this year. Again, it looks good for me and you, but if someone's a billionaire and they all of a sudden lose all their money and they're only worth $100 million, they're still rich to a lot of people, but they don't got what they used to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When I look at Tucker, I do appreciate. I think he might run for president in about 8 years. I'm not sure if I'm ready to make that prediction, but fuck, I'll take him over fucking Biden or Trump right now, man.
How do you think the presidents are elected? Like, because obviously Joe Biden's not the most competent man in America. Like, how is this chosen? Who is Joe Biden? Where did he like?
Joe Biden's actually dead. The guy who is the president right now is Joe Biden's brother. If you actually look at Joe Biden, pictures of him 10 years ago and pictures of him now, the ears all out of place. They're like, he used to have a tattoo somewhere. Now the tattoo's gone. So again, I don't even think that is Joe Biden. I think that's his brother. And the way he got elected is very simple. Barack Obama put him in office. Barack Obama was the shadow president of the United States until April, and then him and Biden had a fight, and now they're going to war against each other. I had Malik Obama sitting right here about 3 months ago, and he basically explained how Barack Obama told him he was broke, but he has like 4 mansions. Could you imagine that? Your brother asked you, yo, can you help me out? Can you give me a job? Can you do something for me? He's like, no, motherfucker, I'm broke. While he fucking buys another mansion.
No loyalty.
No loyalty. And when it comes down to it, guys, if you see a guy who's basically pussy whipped.
Is that Barack Obama?
No, I'm just talking about in general.
Dick whip, no?
No, Barack Obama's a fat. Let's keep it real, man.
I think it's the American people love him because they're saying like, oh, he's the first black president.
The American people love him because he's charismatic. The American people love him because he's got the best mouthpiece of any politician since John F. Kennedy. That's why the American people love him. He's got that mouthpiece. That's why they love him. They don't know who he is as a person, though. But then again, when you have politicians like Hillary Clinton, George W. Bush, fuck, Obama looks good, bro. Obama looks good. That's hard to say, but it's just the reality of the situation.